gas.
So I came across this ad on Marketplace. It was for a 105cc Monster Moto frame. In the ad, he wanted $100 or a Predator engine. So I had some extra Predator engines lying around, and I sent him a message. He was about an hour-and-a-half drive. I didn't feel like making the drive, but I told him, hey, I see the wheels on there look pretty fresh. Keep your wheels and just bring me the frame, and we'll call it even. And he agreed. So he took the wheels and the rims off. He made the drive and he dropped it off. Of course, I have no idea what I'm getting into. All I know is I'm losing a Predator engine, but I'm getting a frame that looks fairly complete. And I did have extra wheels lying around, extra axles, extra parts, because I have a Monster Moto 80 that I built in the past. So I've just accumulated a bunch of parts. So I figured, hey, just give it a shot. I don't think I'd have to put any money into this thing. Which, thankfully, that was the case. Anyways. So I got the frame. First thing I noticed were that the forks were bent. Not a big deal. I had an extra set from when I upgraded my MM80 to front suspension forks from Go Power Sports. I figured this is the perfect frame to use my 208cc generator Ducar engine. Now back to the frame. This is the biggest blemish I had to address. It appeared that they bashed in this frame so they can make clearance for what I assume is the factory air box on an engine. So instead of getting an aftermarket air intake, they did this. So I figured I'm going to bend it out. I'll use my grinder with a cutoff disc to shape it up. I have this pretty thick gauge steel pipe that's about 7/8 inch, the perfect size just to fit in there. I cut off a 2-inch piece roughly to fit the shape. I'm going to smash it in there with a hammer. I'm going to weld it up. I'm going to grind it. And I'm going to paint it with some black spray paint that I had lying around from when I painted the engines. I kind of have this thing where if it looks good from 15 feet away, I'm cool. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, it looks rough, but whatever. That's not the first thing you're going to notice when you're looking at it with an engine running, etc. And voila, it's fixed. Hope you're happy. Anyways, I'm going to swap out the red seats for a black seat, just because red is faded. Got an extra sprocket. Foot pegs were all messed up, so I'm not buying them. They're 20 bucks a piece. I'm going to beat the heck out of them with a hammer, and I'm going to get them straight. That's what I did. That's what you're seeing. Now I'm going to spray paint it because spray paint fixes everything. There you go. Alright, had some extra grips. Gonna slap those suckers on. Got a kill switch. Have some extra hydraulic brakes. I actually have the hydraulic brake adapter, so that's what's gonna go on. Look at that. Perfect. Like it was made to be. Alright, let's get the wheels on. Everything worked out well. Back wheel is aligned. Sprocket and disc is aligned. Stops on a dime. Perfect. Now to install the engine, I'm using a cheap adjustable engine plate. You can grab these off eBay or Amazon pretty cheap. You're able to slide the engine left and right and makes lining up the clutch to the rear sprocket really easy. You just gotta mount it with the 2 front existing holes, and then where I circled in red, drill the frame and then mount the bolts. You're golden. Now at this point, the only thing that's missing is a gas tank. I do have the original Monster Moto 80 gas tank, so I'm just gonna plop it on top, secure it with a bungee cord. I do have some extra gas line with an inline fuel filter, and fire it up and see what I can get for a top speed. Now aesthetically, if I wanted to complete the look, it is missing the 2 front plastic gussets and the front and rear fenders. The gussets are cheap. The fenders, I'm not spending 40 bucks on new fenders on this thing just yet. I'll save that for the future. Now, when I finish this engine, I did fire it up, I did rev it up. It sounds great, but you never really know how an engine runs until you put it under load. So that's what we're gonna do right now. Now I did reach a top speed of 44 miles an hour, and it was bogging when I got there. I'll have to take some time, open up this carburetor, and experiment with some different jets, possibly the C-clip positioning on the needle. But with that said, it did run 44 miles an hour, straight out the gate. This is a repurposed Ducar engine, 208 cc's, out of a generator. I'm very pleased with it. and I'm really looking forward to getting this carb set up perfectly at its prime to really see what the real mile-per-hour top speed on this thing is. It is an 18-tooth clutch in the front and the factory 75-tooth Monster Moto sprocket in the back. I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is, and maybe in the future I'll get the fenders and call this thing complete. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe.